Of course, everybody has an extensive list of cars that they would want to own one day. I myself have a huge list of cars that I want to own one day, but there is just a certain number that I think could be somewhat obtainable in the future if I have big dreams. But this is going to be my list of cars that I truly love and I think that I could have in my garage one day, and ones that I would be working towards to own. Now, we're going to make this somewhat realistic. There's obviously a car or two on this list that I do think maybe could be a little bit unobtainable, but it's, the dream car, one of them. So we're not just going to choose 6 crazy expensive like hypercars or something, because that's boring. But the cars that I do want to own, we will find out now. So the first one that I would like to own is a 1998 Civic EJ1. Now, you're going to look at this picture that's up right here, it looks kind of trash, it's garbage or whatever, but this is what we're going for. This right here, I think that a blacked out Civic EJ1 Coupe would be a super cool car to have. I'm not looking to make crazy horsepower or anything. I just really like the look of this generation Civic, and I think that it would be really cool to own. Of course, I'd want it blacked out. I would probably black out the taillights or get clear taillights or something like that. I'm probably looking to make like 300 horsepower, really not anything crazy. I still want it to be a very streetable car. I'd probably put a K20 in it just so it has some more torque. It would just kind of be like a fun car to zip around, like my Subaru WRX, you can just drive it around sometimes on like the weekend or something. Pretty low budget car, I would say, probably, to modify and everything like that, and I just think it could be eventually a car that maybe my kids could have or something like that. But of course, no parent really knows what their kid wants, so they're probably going to say, I don't want this stupid old Honda Civic or whatever, but I can dream. Now, the second car that I would want to own, which you might know if you follow the channel for a little bit, is a 2003 Jeep Wrangler. Now, of course, this is what a stock Jeep Wrangler Sport looks like, but I want to specifically get a Jeep that resembles the one that I used to have as my first car that I ever got. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you kind of know what this looks like. I've got a picture popped up of it right now. It has 35-inch tires on it. It has a 5-inch lift kit, but I definitely would not want to do that again because it was terrible to drive on the road. It would shake so much. It had a 1-inch body lift and a 4-inch rough country lift, so if any of you know rough country, they don't make the best lifts. That probably also contributed to why it was so bad. But I would probably only do like a 1 or 2-inch lift, something small with the 35-inch tires on it again, because I really like the look of that. And I would just mimic my old Jeep that I had, so put the jack back on the hood. And I would probably change out the front with a bumper that kind of resembles this. I do like the pointed tip to it because I think that it's good for like not rolling over and stuff like that, because my parents do have some land that we go up to sometimes, so I feel like it'd be really fun to take this up there and rip it through the mountains a little bit, and I think that helps to prevent it not roll over. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's why that's there. And also a winch would be useful like this one has on the front in case you ever get stuck to tow yourself out or anything like that. Now, you may have already seen this comment. You had to guess it. Is my 2002 Subaru WRX. Obviously, this is what it looks like stock from the factory. Mine looks a little bit different. I feel like, I'm not sure how these cars are going to appreciate in the future, but I feel like by the time I'm ready to get rid of mine, which would be in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or something like that, when I would want to sell mine, it's really not going to be worth anything or worth selling, so I might as well just keep it. I'm really debating whether or not I want to return it to stock or not. So I debated putting on a wide body kit or just keeping it stock, but I feel like the wide body kits for this generation WRX really don't look that good, at least for what I want, so I feel like I would probably just end up keeping it stock. Take the rear diffuser off. I do like the tinted taillights on it, but I'm not really sure what I would do about that. The headlights I would definitely keep because I just don't really like the stock headlights on it, but I feel like I would just return it back to stock, and it could be like, an homage to my entrance into car culture, and also just a really cool like old classic car. I don't know, in a couple of years people might think that these cars are pieces of trash, so if I do return it to stock, they're going to say, oh my god, look at this junky WRX, so I might as well just mod the crap out of it. But we'll see. Those are my 2 different paths that I was thinking about it. If I did put it back to stock though, I do think that it'd be cool to make it a sleeper, so give it around 400 horsepower, if that was somewhat attainable that I could do for relatively cheap, because I know these cars are super expensive to mod because they do have the Boxer engine. So if it wasn't too expensive to make around 400 horsepower, I feel like I'd want to do that, kind of have it as a sleeper. People would see this old Subaru WRX that looks stock, but it would really be super fast. But if I do put a wide body on it, I don't know if I really want to spend even more money to make it super fast, so those are my two different paths that I would be thinking about, because I'm probably just going to end up keeping this car. I really don't think in the future they're going to appreciate that much to where it would even be worth selling it. Maybe it could be my other kid's car if my one kid takes the Civic. Now, of course, I feel like I have to be somewhat reasonable here, okay? We can't just choose a bunch of random cars, but I feel like you kind of need a family SUV if you're planning on eventually having a family in the future, which, you know, I hope to have one day as a family in the future. So I feel like you do have to choose an SUV, but we can still choose a cool SUV, right? So I feel like this is where the 2002 BMW X6M competition, maybe, comes in. I saw one of these before, I want to say like a year or two ago. It was super loud and it had this crazy burble tune on it, and I'm not really a fan of burble tunes, but this one sounded mean, and after I looked up some of them and saw how expensive they were, it's out of my price range. But it's a dream car to have one day. If I could choose an SUV as a family car, this is what I would choose. I probably wouldn't do any performance mods or anything like that because I feel like it's fast enough from the factory. I'm not sure exactly what the 0 to 60 or the horsepower is of it, but I feel like it's at the point where it's, you know, a family SUV. It doesn't need to be crazy fast or anything because I just feel like I wouldn't want to modify or anything. It's a family SUV, you know, we'll keep it stock. Have to put the kids in there. We don't want it to be unsafe or do any modifications that might, you know, having any maintenance problems with it that wouldn't be outside of what's normally expected because it is the family car after all. I would probably want it to be black, either be super high gloss black like in this picture or matte black, because I feel like on a BMW SUV like this, that would look super cool. The only thing I might do is just put a valved exhaust on it, because that way, you know, if you're carrying the wifey and the kids in the car or something and you're going on a road trip, you don't want to be on the highway and this thing's screaming, but you want that valved exhaust. So, oh, one day I gotta take it to work or something and it's just me. Switch them valves wide open and we gonna let it rip, baby. Now the next car that we got is a Nissan 350Z or 370Z. I feel like I like the 370Z just because of the interior, but if I'm looking to not spend a lot of money, it would probably just be a 350Z because I do want to use this as a drift car. I have personally never really drifted in my life, but I feel like this can be a kind of cheap entryway into learning how to drift, is getting a 350 or a 370Z, because a lot of people do tend to drift these cars. Now for the dream car part of it, I'd probably want to put an angle kit on the front so that way it'd be better for drifting, because I know a lot of people do that to their Zs. And then whatever performance mods people do to make the engine better for drifting, because I feel like staying at the high RPMs and stuff for a long time drifting, people can have problems sometimes, so I'd probably just do whatever mods would be best for drifting on top of the angle kit for it. And I also might put a wide body kit on it because I feel like that's supposed to be better for drifting. I also just like the look of a wide body kit on a 370Z, so I feel like if I ever had to take it out for more than just drifting, it would also just be a really cool looking car. This one has like the vents on the hood. I really only chose it because of the wing on the back, because I do like how the 370Zs look with the wing on the back, but it's obviously not an end all be all. It's supposed to just be like a trashy drift car that I use to practice drifting, so I don't know if I want to spend the money to put a wide body kit on it, but I feel like it would be really cool to put a Rocket Bunny kit on it, just in case I gotta take it out somewhere, you know, it can still look super cool even though it's my car that I'm wanting to drift on. Now the last car, of course, that we got is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This is the one that I said, I don't know if this is really obtainable, because I'm pretty sure these might even be up to $300,000 by now, and I don't know if I can spend a house on a car without getting buyer's remorse. But this would be the most absolute dream car. I've always loved Porsches. I eventually want my next car to be a Cayman S, hopefully, after the Subaru WRX. I was hoping maybe after I graduate college, down the line a little bit, I could get a Cayman S and make it look cool. But this would be, of course, the top one that I would want to get is a GT3 RS. I would want to keep it bone stock, though, because I don't think I really want to mess with anything that Porsche does with this. It's a $300,000 car, so I don't want to depreciate the value or anything like that. I would want it in green if possible, because I really like how the green looks on this car. It is my favorite color. And this could be like the luxury supercar. You know, you don't take it out very often. It just goes out on the weekends sometimes because it is so expensive. But this would be like the absolute, like if I could have one car, this would probably be it, because I just love how it looks. And every single video that I've watched on YouTube of it, it just sounds amazing. It drives amazing. Everything about it just seems so cool. So yeah, that's the list of 6 cars that I want in my dream garage. Like most people, this list does change occasionally. You know, you look at some different cars, you do some research about different cars, sometimes the list changes. So this looked entirely different 2 years ago than what it is now, so it could even change just in the short time from now to any position where I could buy any one of these cars. I'm curious what your guys' cars are that you would have in your dream garage. You should drop a comment and tell me what cars you would hope to own one day, and they can literally be anything. I just didn't choose hypercars because I feel like that's a little bit boring. So yeah, drop a comment what cars you'd have in your dream garage. I'll go through and read them. You might even change my mind on something else that I would swap out. I also just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. The growth recently has just been so great, and I cannot thank you enough. I know we're about to hit 200 subscribers. We might have already hit it by now. I'm pre-recording this video a little bit before it goes out, so if we did, thank you guys so much. I can't believe we even got to this point. I remember last year doing videos and stuff, I was at like 30-40 subscribers, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it is actually so hard to grow on this. But thank you guys for all the support. I can't believe you made it to this point. I'm so happy that you guys have been enjoying the videos, and I hope to keep providing entertaining content for you guys to enjoy. Please do me a favor by hitting the subscribe button. It means a lot. We can keep pushing that number up past 200. But anyways, that's all that I got for you guys today. Take it easy. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.